Alright, let me try it. This is Mujeres al borde de un ataque de nervios.
From internationally acclaimed filmmaker Pedro Almodóvar comes a deliriously deranged comedy that follows no rules, spares no victims, takes no prisoners.
Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage and it has been far too long since I last reviewed a movie that's not from India. The focus of this channel is without a doubt Indian cinema, but I also want to continue to talk about other movies from all around the world. And today's pick is legendary Spanish filmmaker Pedro Almodóvar's 1988 comedy drama Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown, Mujeres al borde de un ataque de nervios. This was the film that brought Almodóvar widespread international attention. It was nominated for the Oscar for Best Foreign Language Film. It was also the most successful Spanish movie in the United States at the time, as well as the highest grossing Spanish film of all time in Spain. For me, this movie is 90 minutes of pure cinematic bliss, something that's drenched in style and design, passion and form, brought to life by a wonderfully colorful ensemble of eccentric characters and stark performances. Almodóvar is a director I have neglected for far too long. It was almost 2 years ago when I watched his newest film Pain and Glory, which prompted me to go back to his filmography. I have still only seen 7 of his movies, eager to explore more, but I think Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown might be a great starting point if you're not familiar with his work. It is a beguiling mixture of campy melodrama and playful comedy. At its center is the television actress Pepa, played by longtime Almodóvar collaborator Carmen Maura. She has just been left by her boyfriend Ivan, and the film basically just deals with her coping with this new painful situation. Only that she barely has much time to be alone, because a bunch of other characters are entangled in this story that's so unapologetically absurd. Her best friend Candela is in an urgent crisis herself right now, something with terrorists, and when Pepa tries to rent out her great penthouse, which has become too big without Ivan, the people who come looking for it aren't exactly easy to handle either. Antonio Banderas, who has played in Almodóvar movies forever, portrays Carlos, who happens to be Ivan's grown-up son, which comes as total news to Pepa. The situation isn't getting any easier when Carlos' fiancée Marisa is serving herself a drink from the fridge, a drink that has been spiked with sleeping pills, which instantly led to Marisa being out for almost the entire remaining runtime. There are some few more players involved and all of the characters combined beautifully build this little world that is pretty crazy, but nonetheless also relatable and super charming. The entire movie takes place in a very limited amount of time. Not just screen time, but all the events depicted are also just happening over the time span of 2 or 3 days. Most of it actually just on one long afternoon that bleeds into the evening and then into the night. And in a similar fashion, the place is also very confined, mostly consisting of Pepa's penthouse, which is absolutely gorgeous to look at. Almodóvar is someone with so much passion for his sets and locations, for the way a place is built and filled with all kinds of things. But this eye for details, design and aesthetic actually expands to everything you see on screen. Every single shot is somehow interesting to look at, because of the compositions, the motifs, the colors, lines, everything. The clothes the characters are wearing, the faces and bodies of the actors, everything is arranged and photographed in a way that's alluring to watch. And the movie is never aiming to be all that realistic. It certainly plays in the real world and you can relate to the extreme feelings pretty much most characters here have to deal with, but it's also so very much a pure film world, a work of art that is not hiding its artificiality, which goes both for the presentation, for example the obviously fake city skyline visible from Pepa's balcony, but also how the story unravels, with its funny coincidences, entanglements and meta elements. You can find references and connections to Alfred Hitchcock or the comedies of Ernst Lubitsch and Billy Wilder. Pepa and Ivan being connected to the film world themselves also adds a playful element, and watching the movie in today's day and age also adds some nostalgia for sure. The look of the film is so fascinating and technology like Calling someone, listening to voice messages and stuff like that plays a recurring role in the story as well. And despite everything looking and feeling so beguiling, it's also a damn funny movie, and the Spanish language adds another extra flavor for sure. It maybe doesn't come across as a full-fledged comedy from the very beginning, and there are some stretches with less humor in it, but this mixture of melodrama and raunchy, absurd comedy just makes for a fantastic time. It's also rather refreshing how much these women are shown as upset and emotional without denigrating anyone or lazily falling back on cheap stereotypes. In the end, they very much look out for each other, and while one shouldn't take everything in a movie all that seriously, there's still a serious or rather genuine tone to it as well. Which is a difficult thing to pull off, but Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown seems to do it so effortlessly. So in German I'd say: Frauen am Rande des Nervenzusammenbruchs ist ein betörend-faszinierender Film. Eine grandiose Mischung aus Melodrama und Komödie, in der jeder einzelne Frame irgendwie klasse anzusehen ist. Und Hühner gibt's auch. I give Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown 9 out of 10. It's more like 8.5, but I don't do that. Alright, that's it like always. Comment below and let me know what you think about Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown. And also let me know what is your favorite film by Pedro Almodóvar. You can hit me up on Twitter, Instagram and Letterboxd, and also on Patreon simply at TheJimmyCage. And if you enjoyed this episode, please give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like. And make sure you hit that bell for all I have to tell.